right, here in the top right corner of Daybreak, we've got one of many TSL Zergs that are capable of destroying everybody on the world. It is TSL Ragnarok as the blue Zerg in the top right, and down in the bottom left corner, we have IM as the red Zerg. True is a player on IM that doesn't get as much recognition or playtime in these team leagues. So, you know, Incredible Miracle, knowing perhaps that they've already secured their spot, might get to feature some lesser-known players this time around.
Yeah, and the cool part about these is that you see, you know, oftentimes coaches will be criticized. Why did you throw this random player up? Why did X happen? I don't know. I'm so mad at you right now. But oftentimes these guys end up becoming superstars. We've seen players in the past that have gone from team league dominance into individual 1v1 success. We have a guy who's in the OSL finals right now, Dongrigu. We had MMA before him. We had Alicia. We had Squirtle. All these guys were team league champions who have found their way into pretty good 1v1 success. So, you know, actually, I did just mention 2 Slayers players, didn't I?
Maybe.
So, okay. So, obviously, this is a very sad day for StarCraft fans. I hate to be the ones to break this to you if you haven't heard yet, but Slayers did disband, and it was official. We kind of had an inkling of that for a while, but it is officially here. As a result, they were in the up and down matches. They will not be obviously participating in the up and down matches. So who they were going against, I don't know who it is actually at the moment. So they are going to receive the automatic seat up into the Premier Division, and I'm not sure how we're handling that open spot then in Contender Division, whether it's someone from the Amateur Division or whether it's going to be someone who was already in Contender.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a playoff situation between whoever was in the semifinals for that. Or let's see, how many teams moved up? 4 teams moved up, so it would have to be the round of 8. We'd have to do a playoff between 4 teams there that lost in the round of 8 to see who would make it into that Contender Division. So could broadcast those games? I don't know. I don't know for certain. Frank is our operations manager. He hasn't fully decided what's going to happen with that yet. We'll bring you more information as we get it. But Slayers' participation in IPTL is over. You know, at least IPTL Premier Division finished yesterday, and they did it. You know, they officially disbanded after they were eliminated from contention, because if they did it before, that would be kind of a weird thing. But either way, you know, I do want to say that all the Slayers players out there looking for foreign teams, I mean, anyone with some capital left over after they're, you know, supporting their current rosters, MMA has a qualified spot already for IPL 5.
Yep, that's right.
He will not come, probably, if he doesn't have a sponsor or a team. So maybe this is another Reddit initiative, I'm not sure, but MMA has an IPL 5 spot right now, does not have a team to send them to the event at the moment. So if you have any relation with a team, maybe you are supportive of one team over another, send some tweets and emails and things and say, hey, did you know MMA is already qualified for a major tournament, and maybe he'll get picked up in time.
Okay, so now that's our Slayers spiel out of the way. We had to address it, of course, so now you guys have a good idea. If anyone asks later, someone just post it in the forum so everyone knows. Bailing Nest coming up for I'm True. He decided to go for an expansion first, followed up with Quick Gas to go after immediate Zergling speed. His opponent went pool first into an expansion so he could prioritize his queens, and then his own gas came a little bit later, though, so everything just a bit, as far as tech is concerned, a bit behind for Ragnarok, but of course he does have, he was up in supply. Okay, that's just because he's producing 3 more drones at the moment.
All right, and I Am True, we already mentioned he's one of the sort of not featured players of LGIM. He's not one of the few guys that came over for Face-Off for the Tech 3 final, so I have not gotten a chance to meet him, but TSL Ragnarok, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, since he is very good, got an invite to the Lone Star Clash 2 tournament. So Ragnarok might be making his first U.S. appearance here at the end of November, or middle of November at Lone Star Clash. So that'll be pretty cool. It's always nice to see new Korean players be able to travel and have a chance at making some money and making a name for themselves.
Oh, I definitely agree. And sometimes those players perform really, really well. So as we saw, Monster actually took the GESL, which is one of the smaller events and stuff like that, but there were some very good players there. Okay, so True actually managed to sneak in with the 2 Lings before Speed had popped up for Ragnarok, and actually killed a drone off of it in addition to getting getting great scouting information. That was basically everything that True could have hoped for. Both players are going after lair tech at about the same time. True's a bit ahead now, and he is already mining off of his 4 gases. So we're going to have some tech out of these players. We'll see if he becomes 2-base and Fester, if any of these guys decide to go after mutas. They are pretty good on this map.
Yeah, with the lair about halfway done for Ragnarok, it looks like he'll be in a good position to do that. Has True already got his lair completed?
Yes, it is done.
Okay, so there is his Spire, actually, immediately after checking that out, and he'll have a chance for mutas, as you said. At this rate, he will have enough for 7 or even 8 Mutalisks by the time that Spire is complete. It looks like both players, yeah, could very well be going for mutas. We could have a muta battle on our hands.
And there it is, Spire coming up. That was crazy micro there. I don't know if you guys saw that, as Ragnarok was able to keep his Ling that was very low in health and watching the Xel'Naga Tower alive. But here comes a big old round of 12 Lings right after that. And unfortunately for Ragnarok, he doesn't have a lot to stand in its way, honestly. His Banelings are a bit out of position, but they're getting back now, and he should be able to remain just plenty safe. Let's see how far ahead the Spire is. About 25 seconds at the moment.
I had to look up the Lone Star Clash 2 just to make absolutely sure that I was right, and Ragnarok is one of those invited players. His teammate Revival, who we could be seeing later on in this match, is also invited, and formerly Slayer's MMA is also invited. So, again, MMA is going to be going to 2 tournaments in the U.S. here soon and needs a team. Just putting that out there.
And, yeah, I mean, that would be pretty good exposure for anyone.
Yeah, maybe I'll sponsor him.
There you go.
I got some cash laying around. We could ask Joshy MMA.
You're going to sign MC, I suppose, as your next pick, right?
I'll have to share with SK. It'll be ASK, SK, MC.
ASK, good. ASK, SK, LGI, MMC.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'll buy him a sandwich. That'll be my sponsorship for MC.
Well, I'm as a fat guy, that's like the best way to sponsor me. If you're like, hey, Kevin, I'll buy you a sandwich. I'm like, I'll do whatever you say. Whatever the next words out of your mouth are, done.
Wow. Kevin is easily bought, ladies and gentlemen.
There you have it.
Bring your sandwich money to IPL 5.
Hey, we got Mutalisks out.
Yep.
And, of course, Mutalisks are largely used to clear up Overlords. They try and do a little bit of damage, of course, but the muta-on-muta damage isn't as important. Yeah, I mean, it's really opening up attack paths and making sure that Zergling run-bys can start to do significant damage afterwards and just kind of annoying your opponent to death.
That's right. If the mutas can find some vulnerable positions against the opponent, if there's not a lot of Spore Crawler coverage or Queen coverage or even mutas back at home, then these mutas can do just so much damage. The fact that the Overlords are still this far out for Ragnarok seems kind of scary, especially this Overseer getting picked off. So he's losing quite a lot of resources, and his supply blocked sort of heavily. There actually some Overlords are finishing. He's got 4 more in production now, but he cannot make any more mutas during this time, while True is making 5 more, so this could get out of hand soon.
Yes, and True, let's see here. Okay, well, let's see, 6 more, 5 more, and +1 Carapace is going to finish a bit faster for True. In fact, it's about 40 seconds faster. That's a considerable window to be able to move in and do a bit of extra damage on relatively equivalent numbers of Mutalisks.
Yep, 8 more coming for Ragnarok is going to put him up to a pretty high count. It looks like it's going to be really weird if we see just muta versus muta, because it's kind of a slow, painful death. These players are going to need to bolster their ground forces as well. You can see Banelings and Lynx still battling it out on the ground, but mutas just generally don't have a great time killing bases, and you need kind of some sort of follow-up. But either way, we've got a pretty big battle going on now. True appears to have maybe less Mutalisks than Ragnarok. Ragnarok seems to win the ground war there as well, but the Zerglings are useless at this point. It's going to be all up to those mutas to try and thin out the herd of True. Does True have the armor?
Yes, True had +1 armor at the beginning of that engagement. That's why even with slower reinforcements and the less number, that he was able to start pushing those Mutalisks away for Ragnarok. So now it's a little bit harder, as both players do have +1 armor. There's still 1 Mutalisk overhead. It will eventually kill all of these Zerglings if they just stood there. It would take the rest of the game, though.
That's possible. It would have to chase them down as well, because they're pretty speedy. They don't usually hold position against mutas, because doesn't do anything.
No.
Yeah, Baneling's still standing for Ragnarok. I saw one of True's Banelings actually just crash into a half-dead Ling. Not the best trade for him. I don't know what was going on there, but either way, Ragnarok back on the offensive, it looks like. Maybe just patrolling around, making sure no huge attacks of Lings come running past. It looks like Ragnarok does have the superior ground force at the moment, but these mutas overhead are going to prevent him from being able to crash in to that now 4th base for IMTrue.
Absolutely right. No 4th base coming up yet for Ragnarok, though, and no macro hatch either, whereas his opponent is not just putting up the 4th hatch, but also the macro hatch just to continue pressing ahead. So a few Zerglings trying to run on by. They're not going to find all that much, and Queen should be able to pick up on those. But True is just going to move through and straight up engage this. Where are the Mutalisks for his opponent? There we go.
All right, yeah, True found a little moment of weakness there, tried to pop in and do some damage. Not sure exactly what it was able to accomplish. We do have a Ling run by occurring at Ragnarok's 3rd base, and really not a whole lot to defend against this. Some drones are certainly going to die. You can see they're on hold position, just clawing away at the drones that happen to walk past them. But now that the Lings have filed back in for True, he's going to be able to clean that up. Can we just look at workers loss? I'm just a slight bit curious. 5 workers, it looks like, were killed in that attack, but lots of Lings were sacrificed in doing so. Huge Muta battle again. Not the most micro-intensive, turns out.
Not in any way, shape, or form. And the worst part about this is that Ragnarok moved in about 15 seconds before his +1 weapons finished up. He's buying time for the Zergling counterattack, but the unfortunate part is that he actually lost that engagement. He lost about an extra 2 or 3 mutas to his opponent.
That's true, and now that the mutas are responding to these Lings, basically Ragnarok needs to keep his forces split, and that's exactly what he's doing. So good moves there, taking out those queens. He will be able to score this hatchery kill if the mutas don't do something about it very, very soon. About 200 health left. It looks like they will clean them out pretty quick. Those bouncing glaive worm attacks, hitting 3 targets at once. Definitely gets through those Lings pretty quickly. 9 workers killed now for Ragnarok.
But that's it.
But that's really not a whole lot, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, he has been able to successfully do pretty good run-bys. Ones that didn't go opposed, I should say, in the middle of the map. They were able to get in there and could threaten to do damage, but they didn't get anything finished.
I think he took out 3 queens in the main, though. That's why he was focusing most of his Lings. But the mutas are in the base now of True. They're picking off mutas as they pop out. That's always nice. But once that flock returns, I don't think Ragnarok's going to be able to scoot out of here as easily as he would like.
He does have +1 attacks, which is a nice little advantage over his opponent. At the same time, there's a Zergling attack that's going down, more like a Zergling bash against the head. This Queen is adding in a little bit extra DPS from the side, and that's going to allow True to stay in here a bit longer, but Ragnarok did pretty handily win that, even with the slightly inferior position.
Yeah, we've got a whole lot of Ling and Muta bouncing in, bouncing out, crashing into each other, and nothing else. Tons of units killed on both sides, 26K-ish, 27K-ish. Resources being spent and lost there on either side, combined, excuse me. But look at that supply just surging forward now for True. It looks like his wave of Lings is going to be a big benefit, and the drone count is significantly higher as well. He's making some spine crawlers to protect that base that's nearly finished.
That 5th base is actually proven to be well worth it. It's you know, he is actually utilizing production from it. It's been a target as well for Ragnarok, and he hasn't been able to take that down. The other thing, too, is that True has done a better job of having Zerglings underneath his mutas at any given point in time, and that actually allows them to absorb glaive worm shots, or the subsequent bounces of the glaive worm, I should say, which makes your muta survive just so much longer.
Okay, some Lings do try to get in for True, but Ragnarok should be able to clean that up with just 1 more muta shot, actually. Back at Ragnarok's 4th base, it does actually finish, and he's got some drones transferring over, so he can kind of keep up on that front. More importantly, though, True is finally switching tech. He's getting pathogen glands and some infestors out on the field, so if he happens to, for example, keep some infestors burrowed by the Zelnaga Tower and spring up and drop fungals on those huge packs of Ragnarok's mutas, or even on the Lings, you know, fungal growth is going to just be a massive asset to have here very soon.
And Ragnarok's just powering ahead with what he's got. It's just Lings and mutas and upgrades. There we go. Infestation Pit drops down for him. Already, though, True is taking a base in the top left-hand corner. Because the Mutals cleared up that Overlord did, though, it tells Ragnarok that he does have an opportunity to move in here. And the Infestors pop out just in time, and they chain fungal a couple of units. Those could not come out at any better time, and True has got to be so happy right now.
Yeah, True had some great timing. Obviously, he had made the conscious decision to get that tech in place before his opponent. He didn't see anything besides mutas and lings and figured fungal growth would be great against that. The hatch is finally killed off by Ragnarok, but he's going to have to run back home. True does have the superior forces right now by about 50 if you count these 20 lings and 4 mutas in production.
Yeah, so I mean, even though a base went down, this base is certainly going to fall, and Ragnarok is actually going to have a difficult time holding on to the rest of his bases now, as this one in the middle just going down. There are a couple of fungal growths available. Still 27 mutas up for Ragnarok at the moment, versus just the 24 of his opponent.
If they don't want to get fungal, though, they're going to have to still keep their distance, and that is going to be tricky when trying to defend these hatcheries. There comes the chain fungal again. More mutas sweeping in. You can see a pretty good split. Fungal's not catching more than 5 or 6 at a time, but right there you can see that huge clump. There's no infestors left. Oh, there are infestors left. They just don't have any energy to continue fungaling, so True is going to have to be repelled. Oh, but the huge ling run by into the main. He had no answer for that, so there's the GG from Ragnarok.
Okay, there's game number 1. It does go to Incredible Miracle.